صلة means connection. Okay, what does it mean?
صلة means connection.
Connection. Yes. Why do we call it connection and where we can find it? Let us speak at first about where we can find it. We can find it after this ha or this ha. You can find mad صلة after this ha or this ha. You find it like a small wow or a small ya. Okay?
Yes.
This is mad صلة. This is where you can find it only. You cannot find it anywhere else. Okay? This ha should have, you will find this always. When you see this one, you will find it. We have some exception, but you will find this. This ha should have a dhamma or kasra. If it has a dhamma, it would be followed by wow. If it has a kasra, it would be followed by ya. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Before it, we have fatha or kasra or dhamma. After it, we have fatha or kasra or dhamma. So these are the conditions that we should find. Before it, fatha or dhamma or kasra, and after it, fatha or dhamma or kasra. And the ha itself has dhamma or kasra, and after it, there is waw or ya. Is it easy?
Yes.
Yes, I think that's easy enough. Okay. The same thing about this one. So, what are the kinds of mad sila? We have two kinds for mad sila. The first one is sila sughra, and the second one is sila kubra. So we have sila, this is the mad sila, and we have sila sughra. The first kind, one is kubra. Okay, sila, we know sila means to have ha, and after it there is a small wow or ya. If it's sughra, that means the same thing. We have ha, and after it there is wow or ya, and after them there is no hamza. Kubra means ha, small wow or ya, and after them there is a hamza. Okay, what is the meaning of kubra? Kubra means big or greater. You can say greater. The greater sila, okay? Greater mad of sila. And this one is called lesser. Okay?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
What are you doing?
I'm just writing it down what you're just.
Yes, okay. So you can listen to the recording. You can listen to the recording. Just focus with me to understand what I'm saying. So sila means connection, as we know. Connection.
Yes.
Sila means connection. And this sila is divided into two groups. Sughra and kubra. Why do we call it sila? Let us know. Why do we call it sila? Why do we call it connection? The method of connection. Why? This is the reason. Look at this surah, for example. Let us go to surah Al-Inshiqaq because we have a lot of examples here. Do you see this ha?
Yes.
Followed by small wow. This is mat sila. This ha followed by small ya. Mat sila. This one mat sila. Mat sila. Mad sila. Mad sila. Okay? Mad sila.
Matsila. No, that's not Matsila. That's.
Yes, mad sila. The mud of connection. Mad sila also.
Matsila there. Yes.
Yes. So why do we call it mad sila? Why do we call it the mud of connection? We call it this because when you connect this word that has mad sila with the next one, with the next word, you read this mad. If you stopped, you will drop it. Like what? For example, let us read this one. This ayah, the first ayah on the top here. When we read it like this. فأما من أوتي كتابه بيمينه كتابه we stretched it مد صلة بيمينه we stopped and when we stop we drop it we don't say بيمينه no we drop it so this is why we call it صلة صلة means connection it means when you connect the word that has صلة to the next word you read it it's called the mud of connection this mud in case of connecting you bring it but if you stop it will be dropped okay
Yes.
so if you want to stop on this word for example فأما من أوتي كتابه where is it it's not here we drop it because it's the mud of connection okay
Yes.
when you stop you have to drop it it should be dropped if you want to continue if you want to connect this word to the next one then the mud of connection will be here right
Yes.
do you understand or not
Yes, I do.
yes that's good this is why we call it the mud of connection because we read it only when we connect it to the next word okay
Yes.
okay yes so something else the مد صلة صغرى and مد صلة كبرى صلة صغرى lesser connecting mud the lesser connecting mud we stretch it for 2 counts only the greater connecting mud we stretch it for 4 or 5 counts okay
Yes.
yes so we stretch the greater connecting mud or مد صلة كبرى we stretch it for 4 or 5 counts and مد صلة صغرى we stretch it for 2 counts for 2 counts like مد أصلي طبيعي okay صلة صغرى for example كتابه بيمينه this is the word كتابه let us write it here and see or why we should write it we can bring it from there do you see it
Yes.
okay so here is the verse كتابه بيمينه just a second something happened
Came back again.
so as you can see here we have small wow here and there is no hamza after it you can say yes it's mad asli tabi'i now no but it is not why because we have it here after this ha and we said that this is mad sila when we have this ha followed by small wow it's sila right it's not asli tabi'i because asli tabi'i if it's asli tabi'i that means when you stop you will read the wow you would say kitabahu this is asli tabi'i if it's asli tabi'i we will read it when we stop because when you stop you read asli tabi'i always you don't drop it right
Yes.
yes for example here this alif here it's asli tabi'i if we want to stop we would say wa amma we will stretch it for 2 counts but this one this wow can we call it asli tabi'i of course no because when you stop you will not stretch it like tabi'i you will drop it so there is a difference between them right
Yes.
this is why we don't call it tabi'i we call it sila the mud of connection but you stretch it for 2 counts it's a follower for asli tabi'i we don't have hamza or sukoon or shadda after it it's a follower of tabi'i so this is why we stretch it for 2 counts but we give it a different name we don't call it tabi'i we give it a different name okay we give it sila the name of mad sila okay
Yes.
yes so this is mad sila and we stretch it for 2 counts because it's follower of mad asli tabi'i okay
Yes.
asli tabi'i you understand this
Yes.
yes What about kubra? Why we stretch it for 4 or 5 counts? Kubra, when we have ha followed by small waw or ya, and after them there is a hamza. After them there is a hamza here. Okay? Why we stretch it for 4 or 5 counts? It's like mad munfasil. Okay? Mad munfasil. Let us see mad sila kubra. Have an example for mad sila kubra. You can find it, for example, here in this surah. At the end of Surah Al-Fajr, for example. فيومئذ لا يعذب عذابه أحد. Small wow after the ha. It's matsila, right?
Yes.
Kubra, because we have hamza. We stretch for 4 or 5 counts, right?
Yes.
Yes. Why we stretch for 4 or 5 counts? Because it's a follower for mad jaiz munfasil, the disconnected mad. You have the ya here. ارجعي. Also here عذابه. The waw is in a word and the hamza is in a different word. Here the ya is in a word and the hamza is in a different word. So the letter of mad and the hamza, they are in 2 different words, right?
Yes.
Yes. But why we call this one sila and we don't call it munfasil? You can say why we say all these names, or why we give them different names, why we don't give them the same name. You can ask this question, why we give them different names, why we don't give them the same name. Mad jaiz munfasil here because the waw and hamza are in 2 different words, and mad jaiz munfasil here because the ya and hamza in 2 different words. Why we don't do this? Why we call this sila and we call this munfasil? The same reason as I told you with صغرى, sila صغرى. Because this one here, when you stop, you will drop it. You would say فَيَوْمَئِذٍ لَا يُعَذِّبُ عَذَابَهُ. Okay?
Yes.
But this one, when you stop, you stretch it. Yes, you will not make it munfasil, jaiz munfasil. You will stretch it for 2 counts. Because the mad munfasil, as I told you before, I hope that you remember this. The mad munfasil, when we stop on it, we make it mad asli tabi'i. So here when we stop, we would stretch for 2 counts. Irji'i, irji'i. Okay?
Yep.
Yep, again. Mad sila kubra, when we continue, we stretch it for 4 or 5 counts. Like mad munfasil. When we continue, we stretch it for 4 or 5 counts. Mad sila kubra, when we stop, we drop it. Mad jaiz munfasil, when we stop, we make it asli tabi'i and we stretch it for 2 counts. This is a difference between them. Okay?
Yes.
You understand it now?
Yes.
Yes. So this is mad sila kubra here. When we read, we stretch it for 4 or 5 counts like this. فَيَوْمَئِذٍ لَا يُعَذِّبُ عَذَابَهُ أَحَدٌ وَلَا يُوثِقُ وَثَاقَهُ أَحَدٌ. Can you try this?
No.
Why?
Wait, which one are you talking about?
These 2 ayat. Can you try reading them? Are you writing and not focusing with me?
I am focusing.
I told you have to focus.
إذا لا يعذب عذابه أحد ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد.
Yes, بارك الله فيك. ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد. Okay. So what do we call this one? What is the rule here?
We call it kubra.
Yes, sila, mad sila, kubra. You have to say the word sila at the beginning, okay?
Sila kubra.
Yes, صلة كبرى. The greater connecting mud. Greater connecting mud because we stretch it for 4 or 5 counts. What about the other one? We call it the lesser connecting mud. An example for it again. For example here. ألم نجعل له عينين له 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 عينين. The lesser connecting mud. We stretch it for 2 counts like أصلي طبيعي. It's a follower for أصلي طبيعي, right?
Yes.
Yes. Can you read this one? ألم نجعل له عينين.
ألم نجعل له عينين.
Yes. ألم نجعل له عينين.
ألم نجعل له عينين.
For 2 counts. له عينين.
ألم نجعل له عينين.
Yes, brilliant. بارك الله فيك وجزاك الله خير. Can we call it مد أصلي طبيعي and not صلة?
We can't. No.
Why?
We need to call it مد صلة صغرى.
Yes, why? Why we call it صلة and not أصلي طبيعي?
Because it's because the ha is followed by ha. Wow.
No, this is not the reason.
And it's
Because let me tell you. Because مد أصلي طبيعي. When you stop, you read it. This one, when you stop, you don't read it. So when you stop here, you say ألم نجعل له. So this is why we call it صلة. صلة means connection. This is why we call it the mud of connection. Because if you don't continue, you will drop it. ألم نجعل له. But مد أصلي طبيعي, you always read it. Okay? For example, like let us have ما وما أدراك ما when you stop you read it, right?
Yes.
Sometimes we have with مد أصلي طبيعي. Sometimes we have some cases that we drop it if there are 2 second letters. This is a rule you're gonna study it later inshallah. But for now, the مد أصلي طبيعي, you read it when you stop and when you continue most of the time. Okay? So they are different from each other. Okay?
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, one more thing.
Yes.
I know this is not relevant to what we're doing, but on Surah Fajr number 28, I think.
Yeah.
It said that the ra is heavy when there's a kasra before it. Irji'i is normally.
There is no. This is not an original kasra. When there is a conditional kasra before it, the ra is always heavy when there is hamzatul wasl before it. Okay. Always.
Yeah.
Heavy when there is hamzatul wasl before it. But if there is the ordinary kasra, the original kasra before the ra, like for example, fir'aun, is the ra heavy or light? You cannot say that the ra heavy or light here. Why? Because we don't depend on this kasra. When the ra has sukoon and before it there is kasra, is it heavy or light? You have to look at the letter after that. If it's a light letter, it would be light, like fir'aun. Here the ayn is light, so the ra would be light. So when the ra has sukoon and before it there is original kasra, is it heavy or light? We cannot tell. You have to look at the next letter. If it's light, the ra would be light. If it's heavy, like for example, firqah, this one, the ra here would be heavy. Why? Because the qaf is heavy. So when the ra has sukun before it there is kasra, it depends on the next letter. Firqah, here we say firqah, not firqah. We say firqah, qirtas, for example. Here, fir'aun, fir'a. Why? Because the ayn is light. Except if the ra has sukun and before it there is kasra, and after it there is a heavy letter, it's heavy except if this heavy letter has kasra. If this heavy letter has kasra, then we will have 2 options here. Like firqin, it's only one word in the whole Quran. فرق. Here you have two options. You can read the ra with lightness and you can read it with heaviness. You can say فرق and you can say فرق. These things we will study them together, inshallah. Heaviness and lightness in details. Don't worry about this. But this is an idea about the topic, okay?
Yes.
Yes. But if it's Hamzatul Wasl, that means it's always heavy. ارجعي. Don't say ارجعي. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You have any question about Matsila now?
No.
No, you don't. That's good. Okay, let us sum it up quickly. So, Matsila, what does it mean?
Matsila means connection.
The mud of connection, right?
Yep.
Yes, mud of connection. So sila means connection. Okay. How many kinds do we have?
We have two kinds.
What are they?
One is sagra and another is kubra.
Yes, bravo. صغرى. I'm gonna put the تشكيل, the حركات for you here. صغرى. And as I told you before, the ya, we read it like alif. We read the ya like alif when it has no sign and before it there is fatha. Right? So,
Yes.
this is an alif. We call it in Arabic alif maksura. La. Remember this because so this is why we call this one sughra here. La. If it's written like this, okay. Li. Li. This is ya here. This one is alif. And we call it alif maksura. Okay? Okay?
Yes.
Yes. Also, we're going to speak about this in detail later, inshallah, in details. So we call it sughra. We read the last ya here like alif. Okay?
Yes.
Kubra. Also kubra, the second. Kubra means the greater.
Yes.
Kubra. And sughra. Okay. Sughra, when we have followed by small wow, yeah.
Wow, yeah, followed by without Hamza.
Yes, bravo. And we don't have Hamza after them, right?
Yep.
Yes, we don't have Hamza after them. This is Sughra. We stretch it for how many counts?
It's stretching for 2 counts.
2 counts. And it's a follower for Mad Asli Tabi'i, right?
Yes.
Yes. And Kubra, when we have Ha, followed by small Wa or Ya, and after them there is Wa.
After it is Ha, wow, yeah, with Hamza.
Wa or Ya, and after them there is Hamza. And we call it Wa?
Kubra.
Kubra. And for how many counts we stretch it?
4 or 5 counts.
4 or 5 counts. It's a follower for Mad Jaiz Munfasir, right? The disconnected Mad. The allowed disconnected Mad, right? Or the allowed separate Mad, right?
Yes.
Yes. And we cannot call it Mad Jaiz Munfasil. We have to call it Silah Kubra. And we knew why. And also this one, we cannot call it Asli Tabi'i. We have to call it Silah Sughra. And you know why, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we have some exceptions. We're gonna speak about them later, inshallah, the next lesson with Mad Silah. Because as I told you, Mad Silah is this wow. By this, I don't want to tell you a lot of details, but let me give you an idea quickly, and it's okay if you don't remember something of this. This ha should be the ha of the singular male form of the third person. Singular male form of the third person. It should have dhamma or kasra, and before it there is fatha, kasra, dhamma, and after it there is fatha, kasra, dhamma. These are the conditions of this one. Sometimes these conditions are not provided, and we have mad sila in spite of this sometimes. So this is an exception. And sometimes all the conditions are provided. All the conditions are provided, but we don't have mad sila. This, we're gonna speak about it inshallah the next season, and it's so easy. Don't worry about it, okay? So easy. Or what I want you to understand today is mad sila. What does it mean? It means connection, the mud of connection, or the connecting mud, or the connective mud. We have two kinds. Sughra, when we have ha followed by small waw or ya, and after them there is no hamza, and we stretch it for two counts. Sila kubra, okay, when we have ha followed by small waw or ya, and after them there is hamza, and we stretch it for 4 or 5 counts. Okay?
Yes.
You understand this?
Yes.
Yes. Now it's the time for your home task.
Wait, it's not time yet to go. We have 7 minutes left.
Okay, we have 5 minutes left. So let me tell you your home task. We're gonna take some examples also, don't worry. Your home task is to prepare 7 examples for mad sila sughra and 7 examples for mad sila kubra. Okay?
Yeah, I'm just writing that down.
Yes, you have to write it down. And this recording, you have to listen to it again. Okay?
Yeah.
You have to do this. Don't tell me that you don't have time or something. You have to give it some time. 1 hour at least, okay? Just give it 1 hour to do all your home tasks, to prepare the reading part that you're gonna take, or the reading part is the same part, okay? You've read only 1 ayah, so it's the same part of reading, inshallah. All what you need to do is to listen to this recording and to revise these information again and to write down what you need, to write down, you know, the main information, and to prepare the examples. The practical part is most important. It's more important than the theoretical part, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let us have some examples. I told you that we're gonna take some examples. No problem. So, tell me what is the rule here?
It's mud kubra.
Mad what? We have a word before kubra.
Mud sila kubra. Mud sila kubra.
Yes, and this one.
Mud sila saghra.
Sughra.
Saghra.
It's in this one.
Mud sila saghra.
Yes. Why mad sila sughra? Can you tell me?
Because
Why you didn't call it kubra?
because there isn't hamza after it.
Yes, there is no hamza after it. We call it mad sila sughra because we have small waw after the ha and there is no hamza. So this is why we call it sughra. And this one? Thing, right?
Yeah, the same thing.
Have hamza after it. What about this one?
Same thing.
No, not
I mean, not the same thing. I mean, we have hamza after it.
Yes. So here mad sila sughra and we have mad sila kubra because we have waw, a small waw after the ha of the singular male form of the third person, and we have hamza after it. Okay. What about this one?
Mad sila kubra.
Are you sure?
Mad sila saghra.
Sughra.
Saghra.
Why?
Mad sila saghra.
Why?
Because there is no hamza after it.
There is no hamza after it. Yes, you're right. And this one?
Mad sila saghra.
Why?
There's no hamza after it.
Yes, barakallah feek. I think that this is enough for today. We've taken a lot of examples and it's your turn now to study this and to prepare your home task for reading. It's the same home task of reading like the previous lesson, and 7 examples of مد صلة كبرى and 7 examples for مد صلة صغرى, and to revise the kinds of مد أصلي طبيعي again. Okay?
Kinds of مد أصلي طبيعي.
Kinds of إظهار again. Okay? سبحان الله.
Yeah, well, so it's I number 6 to 13. And also revise clarity.
Yes, 6 till 14 and the count to the clarity and 7 examples. This is the most important thing. 7 examples, 7 examples. Again, 7 examples for مد صلة كبرى and 7 examples for مد صلة صغرى. Or we're gonna repeat all what we've said today again. Okay?
Oh my God, no.
Yes,
Okay.
prepare these examples.
Yes.
Yes, بارك الله فيك وجزاك الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. See you إن شاء الله next lesson. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. في أمان الله.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.